You're listening to Safety FM Min.
This episode of the broadcast and the podcast is brought to you by Safety Focus Moments. They're consultants that want to help you get the safety culture you've been looking for. For more information, go to safetyfocusmoment.com.
Hello and welcome to an all-new episode of Safety FM Mini. I am your host, Jay Allen. I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods as we are hanging out doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. No doubt about that, as we are hanging and banging and doing everything that we can as we are hanging out. So let's talk real quick because we need to talk about some stuff that is going on inside of the industry, because that just seems to be a common thing. A common thing to talk about, some things to change, some things to focus on. Have you ever been involved in a situation where the organization has heard some new terminology and they want to change everything inside of your organization? You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about that thing where all of a sudden there's a new shiny object and something needs to be changed. Something needs to be changed because a leader has heard this new wording. But come to find out that the stuff that they want to change to, you're already doing inside of your organization. Have you ran into that? How do you handle those situations? How do you talk about it? Maybe it's time to sit down with frontline leaders, with some of the people that are inside of the C-suite, and say, let's have an explanation on what you're trying to change and what really are the focal points. So instead of actually focusing all the time on wording, why don't we just mostly focus on the principles? Matter of fact, I have some 5 principles that you might need to focus on. Look those up. The 5 principles of human organizational performance that could change everything for you. Anyways, I've been your safety manager and host, Jay Allen. And until next time, be safe.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.